I think he was just really well prepared, and I think it was more so a reflection of my own performance versus him being, super outstanding. I couldn't get my momentum going like I wanted to, and I just felt kind of flat.
Yeah, you felt flat out there. How about talking about his strength? That was a big, factor that a lot of people thought about. Of course, they saw his build and how he looked. Was he stronger than you anticipated?
No. I think he was exactly the fighter that I expected him to be. I think his combinations were the thing that were a bit more impressive. But more so, again, like it was a reflection of my own performance and me just not fighting the way I know I can.
Before we take questions from the media, can I ask what the game plan was going into the fight?
Yeah, look, it's just pressure, come forward, stick it on them, keep the combinations going, fake coming in, work to the body, throw my 1-2s, don't stop jabbing, sharp on the defense. We knew his jab was going to be long and fast, taking away the jab, getting him, coming in with the check hook, which started to work.
You landed that right hand a couple of times. Were you surprised that it didn't phase him or didn't hurt him as much as you thought it might?
I didn't really land it flush. Man. And I think that was, a part of the reason it was tough for me to get my best shots going. Just me setting them up. I don't know what it was, but I just didn't have that, energy. So I guess that happens. That happens. And I felt like this in the first Tyron Woodley fight when we went all 8 rounds. I just felt kind of flat. But that obviously that fight I just was able to pull it off. But it happens in the sport sometimes in these big moments, I guess.
Let me pivot a little bit and just ask you about your experience here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia fighting in Diriyah. How was the experience all around?
Man, it's been great. It's been wonderful. Everyone here is so nice. Just had an amazing fight week. Everyone's super welcoming. So I love it here, man. And they even brought me food waiting in the locker room. I've been waiting to eat some food. So yeah, the people here are amazing, and it's been good, man. Maybe we do the rematch right back here.
Well, on behalf of Skill Challenge Entertainment Enterprise, I want you to know that how much we appreciated having you, hosting you, promoting the fight, working with your business partner, co-founder of MVP Promotions, Nikisa Badarian. You guys were great to work with. It was a very easy fight to put together. We did not have, even though we thought it might be problematic dealing with the problem child, it was a great experience in doing it, and we look forward to many more ventures in the future. Nikisa, how would you rate the evening? The fight, the build-up, just overall performance?
Look, this was a journey that started 2.5 years ago, and we just pulled off one of the biggest events in boxing.
Yeah.
The number of important figures of boxing that were here tonight, the sheer chatter online, and the numbers that have been actually achieved in terms of pay-per-view globally are nothing but impressive and speaks to what Jake brought to the table, what Tommy brought to the table, and what the promotion that you guys put together brought to the table. So we're extremely happy with that. I think, look, you definitely don't want to lose, but Jake hurt him, and he hit Jake. That's how I view the fight. Jake definitely hurt Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury definitely hit Jake more than Jake hit him probably in the end.
We'll take some questions from the media. First one here down in the front.
Okay, first of all, welcome Saudi, Jake. We saw a great performance in your fight, though you didn't succeed in it. It's the first time you don't prove people wrong. So I would like to ask you about another matchup instead of the rematch with Tyson Fury. Tommy Fury, I'm sorry. Is the match with KSI interesting to you anymore?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think I got to go get this one back. And KSI is yet to fight a real opponent, so we don't even know his actual skill level. But obviously that's still a massive fight. But I'm going to go back for this rematch. I just talked to Tommy back in the medical room, and he's like, let's go. Let's do it again. And he's down for it. So I think that'll be the focus first and foremost. I'm going to prove that I can go and fight a better fight than I did tonight and get that W.
Jake, what do you think would change in the rematch? What would you do different?
Man, there's a lot of things. I got to go back and look at the tape and really dissect it. But I know when I'm in a flow state, when I'm feeling good, and when I'm having an amazing night, and this just wasn't that. And look, I don't want to sit here and make excuses, but I know I can be better.
Next question. All the way in the back there. Yes, ma'am. Oh, sir.
Jake, pro boxing fans, commiserations on the defeat tonight. Can you tell us what you told Tommy just before the decision was read out? I saw you were talking to him in the ring.
We just said respect. That was a good war, a good fight. He was impressed by my skill. He said, look, I've been doing this since 6 years old, and you've been doing it for 3 years, and you put up a war. So, it was cool. I love the sport for this reason, right? You can be enemies beforehand and saying all this crazy stuff, and then when you beat the blood out of each other at the end of the day, there's just respect there, and that's why this sport's so cool.
Next question, sure.
Hey, how you doing? Sam Amiman from Arab News. So, the last time I interviewed you, you were with your brother at Crown Jewel, and both of you guys have main evented in Saudi Arabia. Your brother main evented the WWE's event here, and now you've main evented a boxing event in Saudi. How do you basically see the rise of the sports industry in terms of having global events in Saudi, and what would you like to see from an international participant's perspective happen here?
Well, look, man, it's just proving to be an amazing place for all sorts of sports, and the turnout tonight was crazy. We had more American superstars in the building here in Saudi than we do in the States. So this is becoming a hub and just a really awesome place to put on events because the fans turn out. They're so excited, even if they were booing me, but it's all good, man. I have love for everyone here.
Next question. Yeah, right there. الأخ بالحطة.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام.
كيف كان تأثير حضور العائلة له اليوم وأيضا شقيقة؟
How did it feel to have the family around you and your brother Logan here and support you?
Man, they're always the best, and they're always there for me. I appreciate them. I love them. And, we've had a lot of ups and downs throughout our careers and our lives, and we're always there for each other. Boxing's for one night or a couple nights out of your life, but family and love is forever, and that's what's the most important at the end of the day.
Right next to him, yes, sir.
أنس الغنامي MBC أكشن. كيف يشوف تفاعل الجمهور السعودي اليوم في آخر نزال بينه وبين تيم فيوري؟
What do you think about the fans and the overall atmosphere during your fight with Tommy?
It was awesome, man. It was really awesome. The whole event felt like a movie, packed out. So, like I said, it was an amazing opportunity to be here, and I want to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia once again for having me.
Michelle.
Hi. Did you hear about Drake betting $400,000 onto you tonight, and do you feel like that affected you through the Drake curse?
Fuck, this is Drake's fault. Drake, bro. Why you do this to me? Nah, it's my fault. But 400,000 is nothing to him. So, but he's won a lot more money betting on me before, so he's probably about even now. Sorry, Drake. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that W in the rematch.
Yes, sir.
Jake, over here. Are you planning to activate the rematch clause pretty much immediately, and do you have a time frame for when you would like to do that rematch?
I think we're going to sit down, talk to Tommy, his dad, the Warrens, and determine when's the right time for the rematch. They were pretty clear that they want to do the rematch inside the ring, and afterwards when Tommy came and saw Jake, again, he reiterated he would love to run it back. So we're going to figure out what the right time is for all parties involved.
Next question. Yep, right up in front, sir.
كيف ترى النزالات التي حصلت اليوم؟ وهل هناك نزال أعجبك؟ نزال معين أعجبك؟
Have you watched any of the previous fights that took place before your fights, and what do you think about the Saudi fighters and the other fighters?
I didn't get to watch a lot of it. I just saw that Badu Jack won. But that's really it. But congrats to Badu, man. Big moment for him.
Radio Raheem up in the front.
I was just backstage with all the Pauls, all the great boxers who were ringside, and to a man, they all said that the performance tonight qualifies you as a true professional boxer in the tradition of the pugilist science. Even though you didn't get the win, does that feel good?
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. I've always known what my own skill level was. And unfortunately, I couldn't pull it off. I knocked him down, which is cool, but still wasn't even my best performance. And I still have a long way to go, man. It's been 3 years as a pro, and I'm doing things on the biggest level, in front of the whole world, global scale. And so I have a lot of room to grow and improve, and that's what I plan on doing.
Jake, let me jump in here for a question. You say that, and I think a lot of people just buy into the Jake Paul hype train that, he's got to fight a real guy, fight a real guy, fight a real guy. But you have only been doing this for 3 years. I mean, that doesn't even constitute even a decent amateur career, let alone a pro career where you're selling pay-per-views. The amount of pressure that's on you. Do you think that you're getting a fair shake in how you're classified this early in your career?
Yeah, look, I don't really know. I think after tonight, you're going to see everyone on the internet saying, oh, the first time he fought a pro boxer, he lost, blah, 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 blah. And I get that. But I've definitely beat really tough opponents in again, a short amount of time. And I'm going to get back into the gym, continuing to work on my craft and the sport of boxing. And I'll let my performances and actions speak for me.
Next question, please. Yes, sir, up in front.
Congrats on a great fight and a great event. Did you feel any more nerves in the changing room just before the fight, considering this was the biggest sort of step up in your career?
No, I don't think it was the nerves. I think it was something with my energy levels or feeling flat. I feel like something was just off. I don't know what it was, but I wasn't nervous. My heart rate was low the whole entire day, the whole entire fight week. So it really wasn't the nerves. And I've felt what it's like to be nervous in a fight, and that sucks, but it wasn't that. So I just don't know. I didn't have my best performance, and that's really all it is.
Yeah. A lot of people are sort of pointing to the fact you took Tommy to a split decision, dropped him as well. Do you think it's somewhat funny that actually in defeat it seems to be that you're getting the most amount of respect?
I mean, is that the word online? I don't know.
Yeah, people are, saying about how great a performance it was. It was a tight fight. You dropped him.
Yeah.
It was a split decision.
Yeah. Look, man, I got to go back and watch the fight to see how I would score it. But again, I'm not the judges, and they said I lost, so I'll respect their decision. But that's why I do think the rematch is huge here, because it was such a close fight, and really could be, I guess, if the fans are saying it's a controversial win. But congrats to Tommy, man. Seriously, he's a great fighter, fast fighter, powerful fighter. He showed a lot of heart tonight, and I think this is the first time he was really tested in any of his fights. But we did big business, a big event, and for that reason, the rematch is going to be even bigger.
We'll take one last question before we wrap it up. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, it's Princy, Russian Emirates. We've arrived from Dubai here just to support you today, Jake. You did an amazing job. And again, for the experience you've been in this industry, you did an extremely beautiful job. So my question to you is, why did you start boxing? Where did this all come from?
Yeah, look, boxing found me in a moment in my life where I needed that discipline. I was going down this weird, crazy path in Los Angeles. That probably would have ended up with me dead or in jail. And seriously, boxing saved my life, and I fell in love with the sport. And that's why I've dedicated everything to it. So I love this sport. I owe this sport a lot, and I'll continue to make a massive impact outside of the ring and inside of the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the problem child, Jake Paul. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the winner of our main event tonight, and what a fight it was. Tommy TNT Fury. I have a little bit of a raspy voice. I was screaming a lot during the fight. What an exciting fight. We were talking earlier when Jake was here, Tommy. I guess first and foremost, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
We were talking to Jake when he was here earlier about how exciting of a fight it was, and how you guys with under 10 fights, really in the beginning stages of your careers, have so much pressure on you built up to these main event fights. But let's go back. Tell me a little bit about the fight. How'd you feel during it? Outcome, just a whole recap of the fight itself.
Yeah, the fight was amazing. It was a really good fight, really enjoyable. Solid 8 rounds in the bank. Jake was a tough kid. He took a lot of good shots, and he was still there. So credit to himself. He didn't have to take this fight. He could have fought anybody he wanted to. A lot of easier challenges, but he wanted to test himself. So I can respect that.
Was there any part of the fight that surprised you? Any fight of the fighter in Jake Paul that surprised you?
No, not really. I mean, at the end of the day, he was very similar to what I watched on tape. He didn't really do a lot, but it was everything. Don't forget, I'm only 23 years old. The weight of the world on my shoulders tonight. My missus gave birth 3 weeks ago. There's a hell of a lot going on. And I'm just happy that I came out here with my team, my dad, everybody else, and we're leaving with a win, we're leaving with a belt. And it's just the best feeling in the world, because over the past 2.5 years, this is all that's consumed my life. Walking out in public, you backed out of 2 fights. You're scared of Jake Paul. You're not a real fighter. Tonight, I showed everybody that I ain't scared of no one, and I can cut it at the big dance.
My follow-up question was exactly what you said, is this fight has been following you around, and you and I had some conversations privately where you said, listen, everywhere I go, the question is, when are you fighting Jake Paul? When are you fighting Jake Paul? When are you fighting Jake Paul? And that really has consumed your career and everywhere that you go. Do you feel that weight lifted off your shoulders?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. What can they say now? Me and Jake Paul fought in the ring, and I came out the winner. I landed clear, great shots, quality shots. He threw a lot of shots, but he also missed a lot of shots. I believe that when I watch the fight back, you'll be able to see the golfing class. But listen, take nothing away from Jake Paul. He's a good game lad. And I'm pretty sure if you get it on again in the future, I'll be able to stop him. I feel like in the fight, if I'd have pressed him a little bit more, I could have got him out of there. But at the end of the day, what more can you ask for? Thank you, Lord. Amen, for giving me the victory tonight. And the next match, it'll be a great fight again.
Amen. So you're insinuating it. Jake was insinuating. He said that you guys had a talk in the locker room.
Yeah.
Would you like to run this one back?
Oh, 100%. 100%. At the end of the day, this was my first main event. Like I said before, the world was watching this fight. I have that experience behind me now. So when I go into another big dance like this, I'll have this behind me, and I'll know how to cope with it. And having been in the ring with Jake once, I'm pretty sure I can get the stoppage next time.
John, congratulations once again on the fight.
Thank you.
What was your assessment overall on your son's performance?
Well, it's like he said, everything you can do in sparring, when you're doing it under them lights, it's a big difference, and Jake Paul's a lot better than I thought he was, to be honest with you. And by the way, he has the right to say he's a professional boxer, because he impressed the hell out of me. Because, he took great shots, he gave great shots, and they served up a lot better fight than some British champions, European champions, and high-level boxers. But don't forget the raw novices. This kid's had an exhibition in 14 months, and he's been to Well, he's been to hell and back. They said he's going to have to stay in Saudi, change your name everywhere he went to. You're scared of Jake Paul, this and that. And I just had to keep him. It was hard work keeping him focused with it all. And I said, look, there's moments in time, and that moment has come in the desert. So I said, you're either going to step up to the plate or succumb. He said, Dad, I will never do that. He said, I will make you proud whatever I do. And that's what he did. Made his father very, very proud. And you know what? Jake Paul's family can be equally as proud of him because he showed determination, grit and steel. They both wanted it, the win that bad. And you know, where better to happen in this great country, in this desert country, Saudi Arabia. I love Saudi. Big up Saudi Arabia.
Tommy, before we turn the questions over to the media, I wanted to piggyback off of what your father said, and I asked Jake the same question. What was the experience like fighting in Saudi Arabia on an event of this magnitude? How was your experience here in the kingdom?
Honestly, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, I want to thank Prince Khalid. You know, ever since we landed here, we've been treated like kings. We really have. And not just me, my full team. I'll definitely be coming back to Saudi Arabia. Apart from the boxing, you know, the kingdom is absolutely beautiful. It's magnificent. And everybody should try and get out here because I believe in the future this will be the epicenter for sport because I feel like they have the drive, the passion, the determination to host great events.
Outstanding. Thank you. On the Skill Challenge Entertainment side, I'd like to say, you know, thank you for the opportunity to promote you. Thank you for coming and thank you for conducting yourselves as the professionals that we knew that you were. It was an absolute pleasure working with you. It was a very easy, and I told Jake and Nikisa the same thing. It was a very easy fight to put together. One, because both sides wanted it, and two, you have absolute professionals working, so we appreciate that as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Biggest thank you of all to great Saudi Arabia and all the fans what turned out. Prince Khalid, you know, I've got to give him a mention. This guy, he's a class act, that guy. Thank you, sir, for your hospitality, your welcome. I feel like a king myself. You know, what can I say? Only thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I hope you want us back. I hope we can come back. Thank you all. And you know what? The fans here, you know, 5,500 people chanting my son's name. I got goosebumps when they was all saying, Tommy, Tommy. You know, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry with emotion, you know, but we had to stay professional. But you know what? Heartfelt. And thank you. 8,000 then. But listen, let me tell you, I want to come back here, you know. I'm bringing the wife and family back for a holiday. It's a great place to be. There's so much to do and see. And I've been told about some great stuff to do here. And I'm going to come back and find out for myself. Can't wait to get back here. Thank you, Saudi. Thank you, Prince Khalid. Thank you to everybody involved. Skill Set Challenge, everybody. You've done an amazing job. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, John. I'd be remiss if I did not, first of all, introduce His Highness, the man that really had the vision behind this fight, behind Skill Challenge Entertainment Enterprise. And you see him going backwards because he doesn't really like the spotlight. But I'll tell you that I have the tremendous honor of being in the position that I am of running boxing for Skill Challenge, and the responsibility is magnificent because of the vision that he has and how he's going to change the landscape of boxing. As he said, it's for the fighters and for the fans. So, ladies and gentlemen, His Highness Prince Khalid bin Abdulaziz. I'd also like to thank, and of course, the tremendous backing that we have with them from the Ministry of Sport in Saudi, that, you know, when they saw boxing, they said what we want to do is put on the best fights, the biggest fights, and make this an entire global movement. So our minister, Turkey, is right here with us as well tonight. Oh, he's not here? He's not here. Let's a big round of applause, though, for the Ministry of Sport. You know, the backing of the country, and even when I was talking with Nikisa earlier, and because of the MVP and how they were used to doing business in the States, they said, you know, this is very different than you guys do business overseas. And I said, let me tell you something. We treat everybody as guests. It's not fighters. You are our guests in the country. One of the mission statements of Prince Khalid was, these aren't just athletes that are coming. These are our guests in this beautiful country, and that's how we have to treat them. So, to Tommy's point, is that was, you know, a responsibility of ours to ensure that everybody here is treated as a guest. Let's open up the questions to the floor for Tommy Fury. Yes, sir, right in front.
Tommy, first of all, congrats on the great win tonight.
Thank you.
At the fight. You carried your name, the Fury's name, your fans, everything, your career, your undefeated record tonight. And you made it. You killed all the doubts. You beat Jake Paul up the whole round and didn't give him a chance. Though he got dropped off the last round, but you killed it the whole fight. What do you think about yourself? How do you feel actually right now?
Yeah, I feel amazing at the end of the day. It's absolutely amazing to sit here, the victor. I always knew I would, though, for the past 2.5 years, 3 years. I always said I would win this fight. And now I'm sat up here, the winner. You know, at the end of the day, I knew I was more skillful than Jake Paul. I didn't have a lot of experience at being the main event. You know, went out there, everybody was chanting, the whole world was watching this fight. And I showed everybody that I can come to the big dance and I can deliver. And that's the main thing. You know, I don't see any other, you know, boxer that's been on a stage like this, you know, with 8 fights. You know, I'm not the most active guy as well. Everybody can see that. So I'll just get more fights and get a lot better. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure if you see the rematch, I'll be able to get him out of there, because I feel like in this fight, if I pressed him a little bit more, it would have gone. But again, you know, you live and you learn. And thank you, Lord. Amen.
Next question up here in the front. Yes, sir.
Congratulations, Tommy.
Hey.
Really happy for you.
Thank you.
I just want to ask you a question about pressure. The pressure going into a fight like this, you know, on social media. I've seen it myself. The amount of comments, the amount of criticism, the amount of abuse, etc. How do you manage at 23 and Jake Paul at a young age to actually put that aside and actually deal with that going into a big fight like this?
You know, there's a lot to put aside. You know, my missus just gave birth 3 weeks ago. You know, I've got a newborn baby at home. You know, everybody here saying, oh, you've got to change your last name, stay in Saudi Arabia, Ronaldo's personal trainer, all this rubbish that I've got to put up with all over the internet. You know, there's a lot of pressure on my shoulders tonight. You know, people's got to realise that. And I went out there, I performed, and I got the win, you know, and that's that. You know, nobody can take that away from me. Like I always said, Tyson's the greatest heavyweight to ever live, in my opinion. But tonight, it was Tommy Fury's little glimpse at, you know, this for me, you know, it's like a world title, because the amount that went into this camp, this was 3 years in the making. And all 3 years, it was all my fault. I was the one running. I was the one scared. Couldn't go out in public without getting heckled. And I just silenced that all tonight. Thank you.
Radio Rahim.
Hey, Tommy, so much was made of whether or not Jake Paul was a true boxer. But tonight, you know, Tyson's carried the Fury name all over the world, but he hadn't yet carried it to Saudi Arabia. And you carried the Fury name further tonight than anyone. So those tears after the match, I don't know that they were for beating Jake Paul, were they maybe for being the kind of Fury that you've always wanted to be? Yeah,
the tears after the fight, it wasn't for beating Jake Paul. It was about overcoming everything that I've gone through in the past 3 years. You know, the broken rib, the denied access to the US, you know, all that, all the comments, all the social media, you know, people all going against me. That's what it was for, you know, and I just showed everybody tonight I can deal at the big stance. You know, there's a lot of questions going into this. Is he going to crack under pressure? I believe that's what Jake Paul was banking on. But did I crack under pressure? Definitely not. I believe me and Jake Paul gave a great fight, and I'm pretty sure we can give an even better fight the second time round.
Next question. Yep, right up in front.
Hi, Tommy. Congrats on your win tonight. Jake was in here earlier. He said he was particularly impressed with the combinations that you threw tonight. Just when you look back at it now, like, what are you most impressed with about your performance tonight?
I believe, like I said, you know, I'm not. You know, I believe you've only seen about 30-40% there. I mean, at the end of the day, like my dad said, what you do in sparring is different to what you do underneath the lights. You know, don't forget this was my 9th fight. I'm not the most active guy. You know, people with under 10 fights, they're fighting every 2-3 months. You know, I've not had that privilege. But at the end of the day, you're going to see a lot better fighter in me the more fights I have. And I just landed clean shots tonight. You know, the jab was working well. And every combination I tried to throw, I landed it most of the time. I just thank God, you know, the judges scored with what actually landed. You know, Jake Paul was throwing a lot of shots, but he was missing an awful lot of shots. But again, like I said, in the rematch, I believe if it happens, you'll see a lot better fighter in me, and I'll be able to get the stoppage.
Sure. Next question right there to the left. Yes, sir.
So, Tommy, it's safe to say that from the crowd's reactions from your entrance during the match and after the match, you're the crowd favorite here in Diriyah in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind as soon as you were going to make your entrance to the arena?
You know, I was standing in that tunnel by myself before I actually came out, and I was thinking about where I've come from. You know, a kid out of Salford, Manchester. You know, Tyson was the great. You know, he's the greatest. Tyson was the boxer in the family, and I was just that little kid poking through in each photo that you look back on. You know, in the memories, I'm just in the background. You know, and I said tonight is going to be my night. It's my time to shine. The whole world was looking at this fight, and I'll come out victorious. You know, thank you, Lord, Amen, for giving me the victory. You know, that's all that matters. I'm here. I said I was going to win for the past 3 years, and I came out and I did it.
Next question here on the right. Yes, sir.
Tommy, massive congratulations on the win. Do you feel like you've had sort of the weight of the world lifted from your shoulders now?
Yeah, I mean, I believe, you know, I didn't get a lot of credit for the stuff that I've done in the past, my fights in the past. But, you know, what can people say now? You know, I came here to Saudi Arabia with my team. I fought Jake Paul and I come out and won. So, you know, everything that I said for the past 2.5 years, I backed it up. Jake Paul was a lot tougher than I thought he was going to be. You know, I've hit pros with some shots like that and they've gone. You know, there's no way people can't say he's a proper boxer because, you know, I've sparred legitimate boxers and Jake Paul was right up there. So he's a tough guy and I believe he'll do well in the future.
Tommy, was he better than you thought he was?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a tough guy. He took some good shots, and he was game. You know, he kept coming. But again, like I said, I believe if I would have pressed him a bit more, I could have got him out of there. But again, you know, I'm a novice myself. I had 12 amateur fights, 10 amateur fights, and I'm here now in the biggest fight in the world at this time, taking on all this pressure, and I've been able to handle it, cope with it, not get overawed, not let it hamper myself, and come out with a victory.
The early indications of the numbers that we're receiving back from our PR, impression, reach, pay-per-view has been unbelievable. And you were part of one of the biggest fights of the year with 8 fights. So that speaks volumes.
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing to sit here and say that, especially under 10 fights. It's a marvellous achievement for myself.
A sold-out venue of just under 10,000 people just to see 2 novices fight. That speaks volumes.
It's honestly amazing. I want to thank everybody in Saudi Arabia for coming out because at the end of the day, without the fans, we're nothing. We're fighting at empty arenas with no noise. So I want to say thank you all for turning out tonight for me and Jake. And I hope we give you all a good show.
Yes, sir. Up in front. Yep, in the blue shirt. Yes, sir.
نهنئك بالتتويج باللقب. شاهدنا اليوم الجماهير متحيزة مع فيوري. هل هذا كان له أثر إيجابي عليك بالفوز في النزال؟
Yeah, just another question about the crowd. You're the crowd favorite. You were the favorite in Saudi Arabia. How did it make you feel, especially before the fight, during the fight, and towards the end of the fight?
Yeah, you know, all week we've been here. You know, people from Saudi Arabia have been asking for pictures. You know, they've treated us like kings, like I said. You know, as soon as we landed off that plane in Saudi, it felt like our second home. You know, everybody treated us like that. And honestly, I love Saudi, and I want to come back here not on a boxing front. You know, I want to experience the Great Kingdom where I don't have to stay in the room and rest and just eat on a time scale. I want to experience the food like my dad's experienced, and I've not been able to. I want to go around, see all the nice sights, you know, and really take it in. But again, it's been an absolute honour to come to Saudi Arabia and perform for you guys.
Tommy, I know you've had some time sort of backstage. Have you had a chance to get on FaceTime with Molly and Bambi, and what was their reaction?
I mean, I was getting my medical done afterwards, but I did call her. I think Molly's just in shock because at the end of the day, what you've got to understand is Molly's been there every single step of the way. She lives with me, you know, 24/7 she's there. So she's gone through it as well. You know, the times we've gone out in public, she's always been there. She's had to deal with it as well. So it's just a great accomplishment for us now, and I'm looking forward to going home to my missus, to my baby girl, and enjoying some much needed father time.
Could you let us know what she said on that phone call?
She just said she's the proudest woman alive. You know, it was just amazing. Like, it was amazing connection we had over the phone. Because like I said, we've gone through a lot, and we started on this whole Jake Paul thing together, helping me film the response videos to him, all this sort of stuff, and now we're here sitting at the end of it. So it's a relief for both of us.
We had a question in the back there.
Tommy, congratulations on the win. You're not short of options. KSI said he'd destroy both you and Jake. Can I get a response to that? And is that a fight that interests you?
Listen, at the end of the day, KSI can sit back in his seat in London and say what he wants. Like I said before, he can do what he wants. Sparring ain't fighting. You got to get in there to do it. And I'll tell you now, if KSI wants to entertain a fight, he's no Jake Paul. And I'll take that, no problem.
here in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, 100%.
We want, what's his name, KSI in Saudi. Next.
One more question, Tommy, and it came up earlier. Were you surprised that you had more fans here than Jake Paul? I mean, with him being such a big celebrity, I was shocked that the people were actually cheering for you. I didn't know if you guys had a UK crowd come, but it seemed like the locals really embraced you a lot more. Was that surprising to you?
Yeah, I mean, I literally, when I was standing in the tunnel waiting to come out, I was like, hold on, am I fighting in Manchester? I didn't understand. I thought, what's going on? I didn't really know, but I was like, okay, I'm going to run with it because thank you very much. And I come out, saluted him. Honestly, it was like, the fifth member of the Beatles coming out. It was amazing. Like I said before, I want to thank everybody for supporting me, especially out here in Saudi. And again, it's just an honor to perform for them.
We'll take two more questions here before we wrap it up. Yes, sir.
عبد الله السيف قناة الخبرية. أنا جذبني في هذا المؤتمر ابتسامة والد فيوري. السؤال موجه لفيوري ووالد فيوري. سر الابتسامة هذه وسر فرحتهم بالانتصار.
Nice. Talk about how happy your father was.
He just want to know the confidence, and he really likes your laugh and the confidence that you have. Why? What's the secret? What's behind this confidence?
Self-belief. At the end of the day, I had a lot of people doubting me throughout my whole career. You can't do this, you can't do that. But, if you don't believe in yourself, who is going to? That's all it is. And I know my ability. I knew my ability all the way coming into this fight. I knew that I was levels above Jake Paul. Hopefully you guys seen that. And that's it. It's just about being confident in yourself.
John, for you as well. The question is for both of you.
Yes, confidence is instilled in them from an early age because that's all we know how to do is fight. And I've been training him since I've been 4 years old, just in the garden, on parks, just having a bit of fun. And we didn't start taking it seriously. It was about 12 or 13, didn't we? Oh, yeah. He was training alongside Tyson, but he was always the boy with his nose pushed and pressed against the window, what no one was taking any heed of or notice of. And he said to me, Dad, will I ever be anything like my brother? I said, who knows? But if you can stand the dedication, the workload, and what people say about you, the negativities, the positivities, you've got to take them all on board. And what more can you do? Only stress to them. You can be as good as you want to be in life. If you pick something out you want to do in life, a sport or a job you want to do, it's up to you how you want to do that job. If you give it your best shot, you'll come out on top most of the time. You can't beat giving it your all, can you? And that's what Tommy did. Every time he fights, he gives his all. He's got a lot to learn. There's a few things he could have done a bit different in there tonight. But like I say, under duress stress, because that's what it was, the whole of the UK was condemning him. They were saying I couldn't train him. He needs another trainer. Tommy's useless. Tommy can't fight. Tommy's got no heart. He's been running scared of Jake Paul. And he used to say to me, Dad, this is driving me crazy. I said, well, this here is making you a man and it's making you strong mentally as well as physically. And here we are, come out on top with all the doubters, with everything what's been said, we're sat here winners. And you know what? To hear his name being chanted like it did, chanted in Saudi Arabia, Tommy, Tommy, I can't get it out of my head. It's playing again and again and again in my mind. And I'm so impressed with this country and how loving and warm the people are. And I say, come and find out for yourself. Don't take my word, don't take Tommy's word. Come here and find out yourself. I love this country, I really do. And thank you all.
Thank you, John.
Thank you for all the British what turned up as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fury family, John Fury, and our winner of tonight's main event, Tommy TNT Fury. Ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude the post-fight press conference and conclude the event. The talk is over. The event now is over. The Truth in Diriyah took place, and what an event it was. Thank you all for coming out. We'll see you guys next time. Good night. John.